Abraham, a former attachment to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and great fondness for the BLS and the NLS program. And I'm really pleased to be here to participate in this celebration. And it really does feel like a celebration. So I know from my time at the BLS that when people talk about the NLS in the context of the whole portfolio of Bureau of Labor Statistics data collections, it's also often described in shorthand as a program that serves the research community, sort of drawing a contrast between it and the principal economic indicator data programs. And it's certainly true that unlike many other BLS data programs, the NLS isn't designed to produce real-time statistics concerning the economic or social situation this month or this quarter. As I think the previous speakers have made clear, however, it's also the case that findings from the NLS generated by social science research have proven to have real value for policy officials and for private actors. I, like others, am struck by the breadth of topics on which the NLS has contributed to our knowledge and our understanding. The previous speakers have given some examples of this. From my perspective, I'm struck by the work that has been done using NLS data to illuminate so many of the important dimensions of economic mobility in the U.S. economy, how the characteristics of the households that young people are born into affect their later life prospects, the factors that shape mobility and wage growth over the course of people's careers. For example, the long-term consequences of entering the labor market during an economic slump, so it's something that's certainly been relevant to how people think about the labor market in the last few years. The NLS has helped us understand how different educational paths, for example, the example Dan Black was talking about, how receiving a GED rather than a high school diploma is related to subsequent labor market outcomes for people. I know that our panelists will be talking about some of these and other important ways in which the NLS data has helped to inform policy. The NLS has also helped, I think, to shape the decisions that individuals make. A lot of that has been really indirect. The NLS has contributed to our understanding that then gets translated into conventional wisdom about what it makes sense for individuals to do or not to do. And I think that's been really important in ways that aren't always recognized. There's also some more direct uses of NLS data. To take a morbid example, the NLS has for a long time been used by people who want to figure out the value of life for purpose of assessing damages in wrongful death and similar kinds of litigation. So the staff periodically get calls about that. I was talking to Allison the other day, and she gave me another interesting example, which is that the staff, with some frequency, get calls from people, from attorneys or human resource officials who are thinking about their hiring practices. And they're worried about hiring people who are maybe recreational drug users. The NLS can actually help them to understand how big of a problem that is in terms of absenteeism, turnover, and so on. So the NLS has been the source of a whole variety of pieces of information that's informed both public and private decisions. In recent years, there has been a lot of talk suggesting that surveys are passé and that administrative data are the wave of the future, and that surveys are expensive. We should be thinking about finding ways to do without them and use administrative data instead. I certainly would agree that administrative data are useful potentially for addressing important social science questions, and that the expansion of research using administrative data is an exciting development. But it's also very hard for me to see how administrative data could ever be a substitute for the kind of information that's collected through the National Longitudinal Survey programs. I think some of the panelists may, in part, speak to that question, but I hope that that might be a topic that we could come back to if there's time for discussion at the end of the panel. So let me turn to the first panelist. There was a handout out on the desk when you came in that gave more complete biographies for each of these very distinguished panelists, and I'm not going to read those. But let me start by introducing Elizabeth Peters, who is the director of the Center on Labor, Human Services, and Population at the Urban Institute. She's an economic demographer whose work has focused on family economics, family policy, and related topics.